Iasu Malagido. Excuse me. As of March 2026, we're going to raise tariffs for Canada. Now they're going to have to pay more. I told you not to do the documentary, Melania. To think that we have Gwen Stefani to blame for this asshole. It's true. Look it up. Welcome to the Malaka podcast. Computer Love, Part 93.
These people have sent anywhere from a few thousand to $1.3 million to somebody they fell in love with, got engaged with or whatever, but never met in person. Some have sold their vehicles or homes in the name of love. Now, yesterday we met Terry, who's been sending money to her boyfriend, Ricardo, who claims he's stuck in Canada, waiting to receive the money from their Bitcoin investment. How do you get stuck in Canada?
How do you get stuck with Donald Trump as president not once but twice? Retards. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, this story is pretty sad. I'm not going to lie. Again, it's pretty fucked up. I mean, how do you give money to someone that you've never met before? I know people, friends and family for many, many years, and I wouldn't give them one fucking red cent because I have a brain, and tariffs are just fucking brutal, and I can't loan anybody shit right now. Gas prices, and if I didn't have a haircut like Dr. Phil, I mean, I wouldn't be saving any money. But the point is, you can't fall for this shit. You can't, and maybe on some level they, have a mental disability. Maybe on some level they're really hoping for that, like, true love. And maybe deep down they don't want to believe it. I don't know, but it's sad. You hear about these stories about online dating, and it's pretty pathetic. But speaking of things that are pathetic, why don't you subscribe to my podcast? My podcast on YouTube is at the Malaka Podcast 416. If you want to step it up a bit for the pathetic scale, go on my TikTok. That's at the Malaka Podcast 416-647. Very easy to remember. And of course, I'll tell you what's not pathetic is Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris just kicks fucking ass. And if you want to subscribe to that channel, it is at the Chuck Norris channel. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin here with one story. I thought it was interesting. I just hope it keeps my 3 fans interested. Oh, God. Coke Zeros, trying to watch my weight. So, yeah, I talked to this one person here, and, it's a good little rapport we have going here. She's a bit older, bit of an old grinder, as you will see later on. But an old grinder just basically means, someone who, that doesn't really bullshit. I think she, a type of woman is pretty much at the point of her life where she knows what she wants. It's another baby. It's gone tomorrow. I'm just kidding. It is catchy, that song. It really is. Was it the 80s, 90s? No, it's 90s. Yeah, that was a good time. It was a good time. Good music, and it all went to shit. Tekashi 6ix9ine. Holy fuck. The point is, just someone who doesn't bullshit, which is nice. It's a rare find online, especially online dating. You don't want to waste time. Even when you get older, you don't want to waste time. A lot of times as guys, listen, guys, we're all trying to get laid. Sorry, ladies, just plug your ears for a few minutes here. Let me talk to the boys here. Yeah, it's just and we want a woman that doesn't bullshit. It's like Jadakiss once said, are we fucking or what? It just it gets to a point where let's have a good rapport and whatever. That's all. All right, ladies, I'm done. So we're having a good little thing here, and I must have said something. I was decent, I guess, and she said, "That's Miss Marble to you. I ain't no DC girl." All right, so she's a little bit of a nerd like me. That's cool. I respect that. I think I said that because I know why I said. How fuck I forget this? Yeah, she has and I've never seen this before. She sent me a picture, and she has a diamond in her cleavage. Yeah, it's true. I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, I was, but like not like a chain that's falling into the cleavage, blocking the cleavage. Which, if I got to be the one to say it to ladies, fine. Ladies, we don't like when hair is in the cleavage, a chain is in the cleavage. I'm personally not a fan of when a tattoo is in the cleavage. That's just me. I mean, that's just I don't know. It's one of the you want to get on the arm and. I don't know, a teardrop if someone, I don't know, died that was close to you or you killed an ex. I forgot what eye is which, but the point is, yeah, it was an actual diamond. And I was like, this is kind of cool. So, I just made a joke. She said she's a DC girl. I said it stands for diamond cleavage. I said I could marvel at those tits all day. You see what I did there? A little wordplay. Yeah. Yeah, I have my moments. And, she goes, oh, LOL. And I go, she gets it. That's nice. I'm just laughing away here. Because someone's got to laugh at my jokes. And she goes, does this help? And she shows me a picture of her tits. And I go, wow, absolutely. I don't know what problem I had before that could have helped me, or this picture could have helped me with. But I was like, yeah, this definitely helps. So, and of course, we're having some fun back and forth here, shooting the shit here, and all stuff, whatever, right? All whatever. So, fortunately, she, of course, my luck, she doesn't live in the city. Of course, she doesn't. You meet a girl who's funny, smart, sexy, and of course. For some reason into me, and she doesn't live in the city. But who knows? Maybe someday we can meet up. I've met up with girls outside the city. It could happen. So there you go. And she sends me more pictures of herself. Very good looking woman, of course. So yeah, not bad. I gotta say, it's going. It's going well. It's going a little too well, And then, I like in my head, because I'm always waiting for the other shoe to fall, of course. I'm a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, so, I know things will always get worse. And then I'm trying to figure out, like, what's going on. I think at one point, I don't know, we're talking about asses or something. And, I had a feeling, judging by what she was wearing or lack of not wearing, I had a feeling she was a thong girl, and she goes, LOL, you don't understand what I'm talking about at all. And no, I hate things. I think she means thongs. Okay, which I get it, rides up the ass. I mean, it's good for guys to look at, but, I can see why it's a pain in the ass for a woman, pardon the pun. And she's talking about what she's like into, I sort of understand, but not really, she's like, she's gotta sleep, whatever, as most humans do. And, you know, I asked her for just a picture, and just one last picture. Then she sends me a picture. Now, this is what the picture is, ladies and gentlemen. I really wish I could show it, but, of course, for legal purposes, and I'm a classy guy, I can't. But I'm going to do my best to describe this, really do my best to describe this, because this is just a hell of a picture. So, picture, the average woman's ass bending over. Okay? It's a decent ass. But in the middle of both of her ass cheeks, okay, so just picture the ass, all right? You with me so far? Okay. So inside, not inside the ass hole. No. I'm only half Greek. But just on each ass cheek, okay? So picture another circle, like basically taking up, let's say, 50, 60% of each ass cheek, okay? But each one of those ass cheeks has, from what the best way I could really describe this is, remember when you were a kid and they showed you those books of like planets, like specifically, let's say Neptune or Pluto, and they're always like dark purple and they have like kind of a sky light purple and a little bit of blue in there. And is Pluto a planet anymore? I always forget. But but it looks like almost like a crater, and that's what's on her ass. And I'm really wondering, like, what the fuck is she into? Like, this is a crazy. Basically, it's a big ass bruise on each ass cheek, but it's like the size of like on each ass cheek, like a paper plate, but it's like pink and purple. And what's weird is too, like, I thought at one point she had like some moles next to a couple of the bruises, and a couple of the brown spots next to this huge fucking asteroid. Like it looks almost like fingerprints. Like it's fucking crazy. Like it really is crazy. And I sent her this clip of remember on Kindergarten Cop when it's not a tumor, because that's what I thought it was. I thought it was like something that's just growing out of her ass cheeks, and it's just like really crazy. And I'm like, holy fuck, like it really is insane. I mean, I'm just glad I didn't eat anything before seeing this. And I go, dude, what the fuck happened? And she says, I got my ass beat with a wooden spoon. Now, of course, again, like, first of all, like, how big was this spoon? Like, it looks like, and this is such an obscure reference, but if you watch Everybody Loves Raymond, you'll get it. Like, those, and it's gonna be an Italian thing where you put like humongous size like wooden spoons and forks on the wall, just to so people for sure, like if they miss the stove, like they know for sure they're in the kitchen. But I'm like, how big was this fucking spoon? And I'm like, this is like fucking crazy. Absolutely fucking crazy. Now, she might have sent me this like when I woke up in the morning. I forgot, whatever. But the point is, I mean, maybe, yeah, she probably did, because I did message her back saying, like, great way to wake up. And I go, like, so is this a real picture of you? Like, maybe she's fucking with me. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it like at a different angle. I'm just waking up here. Maybe it really is like one of those paintings where, like, remember in the 90s, you stare at those paintings and something pops up, like a spaceship or some shit. And but she goes, yes. And I go, wow, how did this happen? And she says, I can never tell if you are serious, sarcastic, or disgusted. LOL. And, I just have to know more, so I can't fuck this up. And I said, oh no, I'm absolutely serious. And she said, I was in a D/S relationship, and this was my punishment once and only once. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a point where I have no idea what the fuck a DS is, unless you're talking about Nintendo. So let's put in to good old Google here. Here, DS relationship. Here we go. Okay, Google is thinking. Okay, okay. I thought I finally stumped Google. A DS dominant submission relationship is a dynamic where one partner takes a leading responsible role, dominant, while the other willingly, I believe that's the key word that they'll use in court, chooses to follow or submissive. It is built on trust. Yeah, no shit. Negotiated boundaries and consent, often extending beyond sexual activity into everyday life. Oh, whatever they're just plain fucking. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like man, her ass is fucked up, man. Like it's bad. Like it looks like if like I don't know. Let's say if like Barney the dinosaur like came on a girl's ass. Like I'm assuming it probably looked like that. I mean, just Jesus. But anyways, yeah. So I mean, there's no fucking way she could sit down. Like if she does a job where she has to sit down, she's sitting down one of those like, rubber donuts, whatever. I mean, there's no fucking way she could, function like this. There's no way. There's no way. So, of course I asked her what, DS is, and, she told me, like not as good as Google did, but, it is what it is. And then I did end up asking her, like, how big was this spoon? And she said, basically just a regular wooden spoon. Now, I just want to say this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm half Italian. I know all the ass jokes with Greeks. I mean, let's just get that out of the way. But, the whole wooden spoon thing in the bedroom. I mean, that's... I don't know, man. I mean, should you really mix food with sex, I mean, you gotta watch out with that whipped cream too. The one that you spray out, all that, whatever. I don't know. For some reason, I don't know. There's like maybe a couple spoonfuls of whipped cream in there, and yet for some reason it costs like $9. You gotta watch out with that because like it leaves that after smell, that kind of smells like a fart. So just you gotta learn from experience. But the point is, like that is insane. I hope she's not saying this just to, because I'm Italian. But anyways, you find in the kitchen maybe a little bit bigger than the normal ones. This one had to be like I just keep picturing that scene in Dazed and Confused where like Ben Affleck is just hitting the shit out of those kids like with that like it's got to be that big. Like it's not a spoon. There's no like a spoon has never done that much damage. Never, ever. Like you can use like a little wooden spoon. It wouldn't do that shit. There's no way. There's got to be more to the story. But anyways, so I said like how many times did he hit you? And at this point she's like, "Is this freaking you out? LOL." And I'm like, well, because it looks brutal. I go, no, I'm just curious, because I'm doing a shitty podcast. She says, it definitely did bruise spectacularly, which is putting it so fucking lightly. And she said that was a few days later, though. So like right after it didn't look like that. It didn't look that bad. I think I just bruised really nicely, LOL. This was immediately after. So she sends me another pic, And yeah, it looks better. But yeah, you know how you like get a bruise and then like it, fucking at some points it looks like a rainbow, just all these different colors and darker than lighter than lighter. You know what I mean? But even still, like, I mean, right after this one, holy shit! I mean, it looks fucking crazy. It looks like it uh, like it almost looks like if like you drew like a brain, but like it looks purple. You know what I mean? Like if Prince had a brain, like this is what probably would like it would have looked like, and it is fucking crazy, man. It's crazy, crazy. And then she said, and it was brutal. It was punishment. And I go, okay. I mean, holy shit. But how many times did you get hit? You know? And then she said, that's up for debate. He said it would be 20, but it was way more than 20. He then said that I just didn't count properly, but no, it was more than 20. What do we learn here so far? Like, I mean, so like when you get punished, and spanked with a fucking pizza paddle in the ass, like do you like so should someone have like a pen and paper and just write down like how many times so like we don't lose track and everybody's happy, I guess. I mean, this is just holy shit. Oh, Christ almighty. Anyways, and then I said, well, how many do you think it was? She said, I honestly have no clue. When you get into that, it's called subspace. You kind of lose track of everything. Yeah, I mean, usually when someone gets beat, you usually zone out. That's true. I mean, and I'm like, yeah, really? Like you black out, she's like, no, you just kind of get, I guess you could almost compare it to being high or being drunk. Maybe you get kind of like floating in space out and it's like a defense mechanism. I don't know. It's like the ultimate goal goes to get a subspace. Plus, I was also concentrating very hard on not moving and not putting my hands in the way to block it. And I go, okay, thanks for sharing all that. Appreciate it. Have you always been like this? And she said, no, not really. So I said, so what made you do this then? She said, I have always felt submissive and I've always been curious about BDSM. I'm like, okay, but like, where do you think this comes from? And then she said, the feeling submissive part, I think that's just part of who I am. It doesn't necessarily mean I need to be in a submissive relationship. Your ass is different, but I think it's just part of my personality outside of work. Like in work, I have to be very assertive, and I was a single mom, so I had to be very take charge. So it's nice to not to have to be in charge sometimes. I said, okay. And she said, I know it may sound strange or not make sense, but it's actually very empowering to submit to someone. Okay. How so? And she said, because in BDSM, the submissive actually has all the power. Once again, your ass is different. By the way, if you're the one with all the power with that ass, I'd really hate to see the other guy. I mean, he's got to be, Rocky at the end of Rocky times a million. But submit to someone is like giving them a gift. I can change my mind at any time. You couldn't keep track of how many times you got hit in the ass. Like how did you change your mind? Like, can you really change your mind if you're in a coma? I mean, I'm just, okay. But I said, like, but will they listen? She said, oh, absolutely. A real Dom will. So in my head, I'm like, well, what about a real psycho? And then I said, oh, okay. Notice how I'm saying, oh, like, okay a lot, just to, to avoid paying for therapy. So I said, why did that relationship end? Okay. I already have an idea. I'm just trying to, and I'm using the word end, kind of ironically, but don't worry about it. But anyways, she said he was polyamorous and he had a nesting partner. And I ended it because his nesting partner was a very toxic, interfered in our relationship and lied constantly, and I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I mean, you gotta assume, like, his partner, I mean, she's in like a full body cast, right? I mean, there's no way, like, okay. And then I just said, okay. In my head, I'm like, just keep going, just keep moving forward. I said, how could you sit down after that? LOL. Because there's no fucking way it's possible. She said, it actually wasn't too bad. And I said, really? She said, yep, I have a high pain tolerance, though I fall asleep getting tattooed. Well, how's that possible? I mean, I don't know. I heart wooden spoons will knock you out, eh? Okay. And I just said, wow, LOL. Hence the diamond cleavage. There you go. You see how we bring it back full circle? There you go. Well, I just want you to be well and happy. Which is, I guess, my way of trying to get out of this. And then she said, I think that's the nicest thing someone has said to me in a long time, which might be one of the saddest things I've ever heard. Holy cow. What am I doing? Anyways, I said, you're welcome. You deserve it. She said, I really thought you would have been totally turned off and running by now. Well, don't, just hold on here. And then I said, no, I just thought you were mistreated. Of course, there's so many other thoughts going on in my mind, but I'm just trying to make sense of this. And she said, not the way you thought, LOL. No, it seemed like a freak, LOL. A little bit, I said. She laughed too. I smiled because I'm just trying to hold in the tears, I guess. And she said, I just have a very open mind. I know. Willing to try things and a need to please. LOL. Well, that's nice. And I said, okay. All right, so I want you to come here for a date then. LOL. She laughed too. And she asked me what are my plans, this is what it is, and she had plans for the holidays, she's talking about how she likes the holidays, and I don't know, we somehow made an awesome segue to talking about family and So, yeah. And then, yeah. She starts laughing at something here. She said, it's not as bad as it sounds. He was very experienced, and I usually asked for it. He would make me hold my arm up. When my arm started to fall, he would stop. Well, God. What a gentleman. I mean, my God, it's wow. Really? He did that for you? That's great. Yeah, and I made that joke. It kind of does, I go, yeah, all normal, and like the oh boy face, As she laughed, I got the emoji here, putting the hand in front of my face because I still can't believe this. I don't know. And I said, so again, when you're free, both mentally and in your case physically, let me know. As she laughed, lol, I will. I'm supposed to, go to a concert. I'm not going to say who. I have a feeling that this person would not approve of this behavior. But anyways, and then she said a lot of people are bailing on her. I wonder why. Then I'm hoping to see, looks like some family, whatever. And okay, no problem. So, I get it. It's cool. I mean, who knows? This could. Listen. The concert at this point could be code for, I don't know. More ass play. I don't know. Who fucking knows at this point? But But then she even said she has a high pain tolerance. The worst part is the few days later when it starts getting itchy. Yeah, that's the worst part. I said, yeah, after all this abuse, that's the worst part. Yeah, you see, yeah. You see, I try to say, I can't, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I know, as guys, we're supposed to hold these jokes in and, because it hurts our chances of getting laid. But, when you hear a story like this, you're like, I don't care anymore. And then she said, he canned my inner thighs once. I don't know what that means. Those stung for a bit, then got itchy. The worst was a bite on the inner thigh. That hurt like a bitch. And I go, canned. Yeah, see, I didn't know what it meant then. I don't know what it means now. She says, yeah. And I go, which means what? It's a long, thin stick like bamboo or something. Wow. Okay, so listen, some women, want to be spanked with the wood. Some of them literally could, just get off on, living in a forest. And yeah. And then she's on her little trip there to the concert. I guess she rented a motel. She sent me a picture of that. Of her, legs and feet on the ottoman. They don't seem bruised. So, I mean, she's on the foot stuff. So, that's nice, I guess. And then she said, was supposed to go to a concert tonight, but everyone bailed, was bored and feeling sorry for myself. So I decided to visit some friends. Oops, they went away. So, okay. I'm seeing, I don't know if it's just me or, maybe you guys see it too, but are you seeing a pattern here, both mentally and physically? Like everything just, I don't know. Yeah. But she says she's going to meet up with her parents, which, God only knows where they fall in all this. And then she says she's used to like having to report in, which I guess is part of the BDSM, I guess, it's almost, I guess it saves money on, GPS, I guess, internet usage maybe on your phone. I'll try to control myself. That's I don't think there's any point of you doing that anymore. But yeah, okay. So, and then like it gets even a little bit more sadder. You know what I mean? Like it's and then at one point she says like, I'm not very good at doing things by myself. I feel like a bit of a loser. Sometimes I know I shouldn't. I need to get over that, but that's my thing, And I even said like, oh, don't say that, it's come on, And I said you can do anything, and she sent me a little heart emoji thing there, and for the message, and she said it's funny I got into a fight with a big ass man at a bar because He was telling racist jokes, but I'm afraid to go to a concert by myself. LOL. Okay, so just when you think the story's over, there's a little more. So I guess she went to a bar instead of going to the concert by herself, but then she can't do things by herself. I mean, I guess she's a Gemini. I don't know. And then I said, really? Well, a crowd is more enclosed, you know. So she's like, yes, true. You know, so yeah. And then, of course, I have to know what the fuck happened here. Yeah, and at one point she's like, despite all the, I think she's trying to say abrasive behavior. I don't know, the message got cut off here. But anyways, it didn't seem like a fun night at the bar here. So, and then and I'm like, where the fuck you're from is completely fucked up. And she's like, yep, and then she starts describing the guy that she had a fight with at the bar. He was dressed. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Like he didn't walk in naked like Arnold in T2. He looked like he was like this dirty ass like tow truck driver or something. Nothing against tow truck drivers, but he looked like a bum and told me he was a comedian and he was just making the rounds and annoying everyone in the bar that night. So I'm like, all right, okay, well, hey, was he funny? Is he famous? I mean, who the fuck knows? Has he seen your ass lately? Okay, that wasn't in the place that she's from. It didn't move till later on, the other place where she's from, until I left my husband. When I was with my husband, we lived in a certain place, and which is a small place here and there. And I'm not going to mention the name of these places, but like if you hear the name of these places, they're extremely Canadian. But anyways, yeah. Anyways, Jesus, I mean, it's like we couldn't think of any other like animal that day. Never mind. Yeah, so she says it usually takes a while, but eventually the French comes out of me. Okay, so I don't know what that means because I don't know. I don't like. I mean, I'm from Canada and I can't fucking stand Quebecers the way they treat the Torontonians. It's I don't know. It's yeah. When they wanted to separate years ago, I'm like, fuck it, let them. Who cares? I don't know. So I don't know. I always associate French people with the white flag and all that, but I don't know. What are you gonna do? I mean, she's by far the toughest French woman I've ever come across. I mean, at least her ass is. But I've always said that French women and British women always have the nicest faces. You know, Elizabeth Hurley is fucking 60. Jesus, that's crazy. But anyways, you know, I just want to know who this dude was. Because she didn't mention the name. I'm not going to mention the name. Then I said, like, last name. And she said, usually you guys are known for giving up. You know, the whole French thing. You know, ha, 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 whatever. That's very funny. And I was adopted, so my last name is not French. Okay, so the whole adopted thing, I mean, like, you don't have to be Freud to figure this one out. So, but my married last name, which legally still my last name is whatever. Yes, go ahead and make all the jokes you like. It is kind of funny. It's not that funny, but it's my maiden name is of course it's not. Of course, nothing is real here. I mean, my God. I'm starting to think the only real thing is the actual pain. I mean, this is holy shit. Which I'm working on and going back to. Okay, change your name, whatever. She could be in the FBI. Who the fuck knows? And then I said I knew it. LOL. Why would it make fun of that? That's a cool last name. So. Have you ever gone out on a date with a gilf? I forgot what a gilf was. I mean, MILF, obviously. I mean, American Pie. We all know that. Although the saying actually came a few years before that. Is a vulgar slang acronym for a grandmother or older woman considered sexually active. Okay. She wasn't that much older. I mean, maybe what, like 5, 10 years older. So, but has she lived a more interesting life than me? Absolutely. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, and then I just made a joke like, probably. By date you mean like fuck, right? LOL. Either or, I guess. Both have a good laugh. And I said, you ever been with a bald wop? LOL. I can say that, I'm half Italian. The wooden spoon thing, I I think I've earned it at this point. And then she said, probably. And I put my hand on face emoji. She can't even remember. LOL. I mean, one of my... yeah, I'm not surprised at this point. Will you know I'm usually either blindfolded or they're wearing a mask or something. And just when I thought she couldn't shock me anymore, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, I send the O face, the emoji there. What is this eyes wide shut? LOL. And then she said, LOL, I'm joking, of course, which has got to be fucking bullshit. She says, and no, I have never dated or fucked an Italian or a Greek bald, yes, casual, like in the bald guys, like Greeks and Italians or something. The message got cut off. And yeah, okay. I don't know. These, yeah, it's true. A lot of these cities don't have Greeks or Italians. It's a shame, but, it is what it is. And then, I'm like, no, I asked her something, I guess. And then she said, oh, no, mine too, actually. I dislike one of my coworkers. Oh, do you like where you work, I guess, maybe? And I says, why? She's a bitch. Why? Has yours been frustrating? I'm like, I work security. You know how it is. Not I mean, I'm half Italian. I probably have not seen as many wooden spoons as she has, but long story. Little heart emoji there. Thank you. Why do you love that? I said I don't. I was sending you a heart. Oh, of course everything gets mixed up in confusing at one point of texting. It's even I'm tired of reading all this, as you can tell. I did not think this podcast would go this long, especially for one story. And then I'm asking her again, like, when is she free? And then for some reason she sends me like the same picture that she did in the beginning of the conversation, So, and then like she sent it, like, it's weird because she sent the same picture, but then she says like she sends the same picture like reversed, and I'm like, okay, so something's up here, you know what I mean? So I don't know, who knows, I mean, she's a grandma. A lot of grandmas get confused. So what are you gonna do? But and then I'm kind of questioning her on this, and I'm like, like, was this picture for me? Maybe it wasn't, and I don't know, and so, and then we kind of, I don't know. Ironically, like, I think this was the thing that kind of pissed her off because I kind of didn't believe that this was, the picture, and she kind of avoided it, and I think that's the thing that kind of, took the conversation south. Not the BDSM, not the not literally anything else that she mentioned in her crazy fucked up life, but that's the trigger. And ladies and gentlemen, I've met people like this where literally, like, they will tell you the most fucked up shit, but if you question them on, like, literally, like, the wrong thing, the one thing out of a million, that's the thing they freak out about. So it's got to be some kind of, like, psychological thing where I mean, maybe she. There's no way you're in control with when you have, two asteroids hitting your ass like that and just making, you know, like those kind of marks on your ass. I mean, it's like if you told me she fell off the CN Tower and landed on her ass, like I would believe you. Like that's how crazy these bruises are. But yeah, I mean that's the thing that pissed her off. So did I did I am I okay with not seeing her? I think so. I think I'll live. But oh, the point is, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if this is what you're into, all the power to you, as long as both parties are consenting and whatever, But I mean, let me make this crystal clear. I am not into this shit at all. I mean, but I do find it fascinating that people are into it. But I mean, because it's just fucking crazy. And despite all the mistakes my parents made, and holy shit, did they make a lot. At least they stayed together. How? I don't fucking know. But yeah, at least I didn't end up with you know, uh, my ass, looking like a fucking Teletubby. So, yeah. This is online dating, huh? Awesome. I can't wait for episode 94. That was that. I mean, it was a good year. It was I think Green Day Dookie came out. That was a good year. But ladies and gentlemen, I like to say this has been a wooden spoon free episode of
Tinky Winky.
Tinky Winky. The purple Teletubby has a fucking name, and it's Tinky Winky. I got to get out of this. Computer Love, Part 93. Seriously, there's a whole generation of kids watching this as they grow up, and you expect them not to do Molly?